This video covers day 5-1 when I'm not here. Please make sure that you are being very respectful of the sub and that you are taking notes with us. You were asked to grab a new notes packet when you walked in, and you can clean out notes and homework from your folder. Anything that is not Unit 5 that you just picked up can go in the trash unless you owe me a makeup test. Some of you owe me tests for Unit 3 or Unit 4. So I need you to not throw that stuff away until you take that test. But if you have taken all of your tests up to this point, then you can toss anything that is old information. So we're starting the notes. If you don't have your notes packet, you didn't pick one up, you're not ready, please ask the sub nicely to pause the video. Sub, please pause the video and then continue when people are ready. So we are not going to sing the triangle song, mostly because I don't know what song it is, but a triangle is made up of 3 components. Your vertices are like your points. So P, Q, and R are your vertices, your angles, where those pieces change. So your vertices and angles are very similar. Vertices are the points where the angles are. The angles are the actual angles inside. But the point, like point Q, is a vertice because that's where your line changes directions. And then your sides are those specific sides where your connections happen. So P to Q is a side, Q to R is a side, and P to R is also a side. So those sides, P to Q, so from P to Q, Q to R, and then R to P. You are not wrong if you list them the other way. You are wrong if you put arrows on those lines or anything different than what I've written, unless it's exactly what I've written but backwards. So like QP, RQ, and RP are sides, and that's fine too. Triangles, the sum of a triangle's angles always add up to, add up to 180 degrees. So triangles always add up to 180. So angles P, Q, and R will always add to 180. The reason being, you can think of a straight line makes the triangles. Sorry, that didn't really make a lot of sense. So it basically takes 3 straight lines to make a triangle. If you were to take your paper on your desk, you could do 2 quick folds to turn it into a triangle. The reason being, you start with a line, you turn it into a triangle. So one way to classify triangles is by the lengths of its sides. So on this first example, we're classifying them by the sides. If all sides are equal, and remember those little ticks mean equal, equal, equal. So all 3 sides are equal. It's an equilateral triangle. So equilateral. That part is like a weird spelling of the word equal to help you remember that is an equilateral triangle. B, all the sides are different. So we have a 1 tick, 2 ticks, and 3 ticks. So all of my sides are different. That is called a scalene. I don't really have a way for you to remember that though. And then part C, if you have 2 that are the same, so 2 sides that are the same, that is an isosceles. Oh, I can't spell, hold on. Isosceles. And the only way I have for you to remember it is you have 2 S's and 2 E's. Oh crap, there's 3 S's. You have 2 E's that are the same. Dang it, that happens in scalene. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Isosceles. Just remember it. Same thing with scaling. So I think scaling is a really ugly word. Maybe because I don't like getting on the scale. Scaling, ugly, all different. I don't know. Sorry. Come up with your own thing and let me know tomorrow. You can also classify triangles by the measures of their interior angles. So remember, all of them add up to 180. So if all of your angles are exactly the same, it's an equiangular. Yeah, I think I spelled that right. Equiangular. So we have equal angles. All of my angles are the same, then it's equiangular. If all of my angles are acute, then it is an acute triangle, but all of them have to be acute. If I have one that is obtuse, then it is an obtuse angle or an obtuse triangle. If I have one that is right, then it is a right triangle. So your options are equal angular because they're all equal, acute because they're all acute, obtuse because one is obtuse, and right because one is right. So I need you to make sure you've circled that because it only takes one angle for it to be obtuse and one angle for it to be right, but it takes all three being less than 90 for it to be acute. So on example 3, they ask us to find the measure of the third angle of the triangle if the first is 66 and the second is 37. So, you know me, my go-to is to draw a picture. I have one angle that's 66, one that is 37. It does not matter where I place these angles, 37, 66, or X, as long as I label everything I have. Now, we talked about all the sides or all the angles inside a triangle add to 180. Always, 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 always. So I have an angle that's 37, an angle that's 66, an angle that's unknown, and they're always going to add to 180. So when I solve this problem, 37 and 66 is 103. And then I'm going to subtract 103 from both sides. And X equals 77 degrees. So if we wanted to classify, I have a 37, a 66, and a 77. This would be an acute triangle because all of my angles are acute. Now, they didn't technically ask me for that, but be ready for it because you never know when they're going to ask for too much. Example 4 is asking me to find the measure of each angle. Excuse me. This time they have labeled X, 3X, and X plus 4. So I don't know what any of them are, but I know that all three of them together add to exactly 180. Thank you. So to solve this, I'm going to do a little algebra. X, 3X, and X is 5X total plus 40 equals 180. Make sure when you're setting this up that you include all three angles. From here to solve for X, I'm going to move 40. So 5X equals 140. And then divide everything by 5, and X equals 28. Wow, what a color. So they are asking me to come back and identify angle R. So angle R over here is 3X. So that would be 3 times X, which is 28. So 84. They want angle S. Angle S is just X. So X is 28. And then angle T, which is X plus 40. So 28 plus 40, which is 68. I could do a quick check. 84 plus 28 plus 68. Does that equal 180? Throw it into my calculator really quickly, and yes, it does. Okay, so example 5, find the value of X. Again, they told us X, all of them add to the same thing. So X, X, and X would add to 180 because all triangles add to 180. So I have 3 X's total that add to 180. Divide by 3, and X is 60. Now, this will always be the case. It says in example 5, it's an equal angular triangle because all of my angles are equal. Based on this example, we can say that each angle of an equal angular triangle is 60. The reason being, all of my angles have to be the same, and all of my angles have to add to 180. Oh my gosh, sorry. So there is no way that all of my angles can be the same and they can all add to 180 unless they're all 60 degrees. Example 6, they want me to find the measure of KJL, so basically angle J right in here. Now I am going to have to figure out what X is in order for me to continue. So they kind of sort of started this on my paper. 3X plus 2 plus 2X plus 3 plus 90 degrees is going to equal 180. Remember, this little box here is 90 degrees. So I'm adding all of my angles together. 3x plus 2x is 5x. I'm just going to write it out to the side a little bit. 2 plus 3 is 5. Just kidding. Plus 90 is 95. And that equals 180. Move the 95. So 5x equals 85. Divide by 5. And x equals 17. So far what I've done, remember all triangles add to 180. So I take all my inside angles, set them equal to 180, solve for x. Now KJL is 3x plus 2. So I replace x with 17. Simplify to get 53 degrees. Okay, and then there's this one last little piece. In example 6, the one we just worked, J and L would be classified as acute. Since their sum is 90, acute angles of right triangles are complementary. So the other two angles that are not the right angle would also have to add to 90. The reason being, this angle is 90, the whole thing adds to 180, so these also have to be 90 because 90 plus 90 is 180. So J and L together are complementary. Remember, it's right to give complements. So J and L together would be 90 degrees. We know we've already found that x is 17, and then we found that KJL is 53 degrees. We've already done that. But you could also skip to the point, like you could leave this 90 out and say that this piece, the pieces that are left, equal 90. You could set it up that way. You're not going to be wrong, though, if you do exactly what we just did, because we know all triangles add up to 180. They're just trying to help you see how you could do it with a little bit of less work, but it's not absolutely necessary. You can say always that all three angles in a triangle will add up to 180, and then solve from there. So, this is in your notes. Sorry, I lost mine. Exterior angles. The exterior angle of a triangle is formed by one side of the triangle and the extension of an adjacent side. So, we have this weird picture. Sorry, I cannot stop yawning. This is getting annoying. So BCD is an exterior angle because it is outside of the triangle. Exterior, outside. If I told you to go to the exterior of the building, you would go outside. And then A and B are the angles that are not right next to the exterior angle, that are remote interior angles. This is just a little bit of a tab for you. So there is a theorem that states that the measure of an exterior angle is the sum of the two remote interior angles. So for this example, angle 1 is going to be the other two angles that is not right next to it added together. So the measure of angle 1 would be 80 and 40, which totals to 120. Here's your reason, and you don't have to memorize all of this that I'm about to tell you. But it is helpful information. Wow, that did nothing. Okay, so remember, triangles add up to 180. So 80, 40, and angle 2 have to add up to 180. Also, straight lines add up to 180. So if I know 80, 40, and angle 2 all add up to 180, and 2 and 1 add up to 180, then 80 and 4 have to be the same thing as angle 1. Because whatever 2 is for the triangle is going to be whatever 2 isn't on the line. So we said that this was 120, which means angle 2 is 60 degrees. On a straight line, angle 1 would be 120. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing as just adding your two outside angles, or your two inside angles. Whoops, they're to equal. So in this example, triangle X, Y, Z, X is 63 degrees, Z is 64, and they want us to find ZYR, so this outside angle here. ZYR is a combination of the other two inside angles. So everything except the one that is right next to it. So I'm not saying this is X. I'm saying, like, do not use this angle, because it's everything that's not right next to it. So 64 and 63 together, which is 127. So same idea. This one's just getting a little more complicated. G is 11x minus 2. F is 8x plus 4. FEH, so this outside, is 17x plus 10. And they want us to find measure F. So the first thing I know is that these two inside angles, 11x minus 2 and 8x plus 4, add to equal that outside angle of 17x plus 10. So I can solve from here. 11x's and 8x's is, just kidding, 19x's. Negative 2 and positive 4 is 2. And then 17x plus 10. So I'm going to move my x's to one side. And again, I've set these up because the two inside angles equal the one outside angle. Keep solving for x. So 2x equals 8. So x would equal 4. So again, I've labeled my picture because the pictures are super helpful. And then I have said the two inside angles added together would equal, oh my gosh, I need sleep, would equal the one outside angle. I solve for x. Now I'm going to find the measure of angle F. Angle F is 8x plus 4. So I replace x with 4. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 4 is 36. Okay, so I label my picture. My picture shows that these two pieces, the two insides, are equal to the one outside, so I set that up in blue, solve for x, and then find measure F with x. So now they are asking you to complete this assignment. This is assignment 5-1, not 4-1. Yeah. So they ask you to classify by the sides. Make sure you go back in your notes and see what side options are available. Then they ask you to classify by angles. Make sure you look into your notes to see what angles are available. They ask you to find the missing angles. So remember that all triangles add to 180. Same thing here. They add to 180. And then we have a couple of review problems. And then exterior angles. Remember the two inside are equal to the one outside. And we don't use the one next to it. And those are listed there. So please make sure you're using the rest of class working. Music is okay. Phones with no work or not finished work are not okay. Make sure you ask your neighbors for help. And the sub does have a copy of the key to A51. So if you do need assistance or would like for the sub to show you one specific problem, you may ask very politely. If you do not ask politely and they do not give it to you, I wouldn't blame them for that. So if you do need assistance or want to make sure you're on the right track, please make sure you ask the sub politely and they can show you part of the key. They will not give you the whole key to take and copy, but they can let you know if you're on the right track, or if they are familiar with geometry/math, they might even be able to assist you from here. So make sure you're spending your time wisely. Make wise choices with your time and do not waste it. See you guys tomorrow.